One of the highlights of the past 2 years has been the work that we've done in terms of sex offenders. I was very proud when the Attorney General brought legislation that actually manages the sex offenders process. We had a joint select committee in 2018, and we identified many areas that we could improve with regards to sex offenders management. There were 19 recommendations. 13 of those recommendations have been enacted by the Attorney General's office, and I think that in terms of our continued commitment to protection of children, women, adults, this legislation was one that I can say I was proud of and happy that we not only committed to it in terms of a promise, but we've actually actioned that.
I know that sometimes when we talk about trauma, as it relates to persons, when people undergo trauma, you can never or devalue what someone goes through, and so I think it was very important, this legislation was to be able to manage what occurs with a sex offender after they are released. And I also wanted to add to some other pieces of legislation that I'm also particularly proud of, and that is the roadside sobriety testing. And while it may not be favorable for many, it has definitely changed our behaviors, and people are having to think about now how they will consume alcohol and how they will get home safely, because there is more monitoring out there on the roads in regards to people drinking and driving. I would hope, and from what I'm hearing and seeing, that it's effective. It's effective.
Yeah.
And I think when we talk about legislation that has been impactful, because we've passed a lot of legislation, but as far as something that has been impactful for our community, definitely the Sex Offenders Management Act, as well as roadside sobriety.
I was very happy to see what we've done in terms of entrepreneurship for our young people. The incubator program has actually, I think, given our young people solid opportunity to hone their skills, because not only does the BEDC provide funding, but it actually gives them a space in order to hone their skills, to perfect their business. Further to that is the Tourism Investment Act that we passed some time ago, which would encourage businesses to come to Bermuda, to hire Bermudians, to build, to invest. So I think specifically for me, I like what we are doing in the entrepreneurial space. We are definitely following through on our platform in encouraging entrepreneurs, not just young people, but those who are already established entrepreneurs and those who are new as well, in the entrepreneurial space, giving them some sort of tax relief. So those are the things that sort of jump out at me as being highlights.
We have given over 100 scholarships just in 1 year, and so we are looking constantly for a way to make certain that we do whatever we can as a government to ensure our people get the reprofessionalization or the training or the scholarship opportunities to be able to recognize and realize the goals that they are pursuing that will ultimately benefit our society and make certain that our people are put first and our people are first in operating in our space.
So we have business, we have our people, we have a social agenda, which we're very proud of. In terms of business, we have the immigration piece, and the minister responsible for immigration is doing his very best to create a balance between having people come here to work and protect the interests of Bermudans, and that's why we have an act that's called the Bermuda Immigration and Protection Act. On the other hand, we have our social agenda, and I'm happy to say it's been dominated so far by the protection of our people, particularly our most vulnerable demographics. So you both talked about the sex offender management regime, which is something that was shocking to me to inherit in terms of nothing being done for all of these years. And you see this across the board when you go and basically you've heard that old expression, looking under the hood. When we look under the hood as ministers, we see legislation that's never been implemented in terms of real progress. And I have that challenge, for instance, and Tinee will be more familiar with the litigation guardian piece, and that's been very topical in the media in recent times. And what I've found is that while we enacted legislation in 1998, there has been no administration, this is across the political divide, who has done anything to put a framework in place so that our children are protected in that process. And so I'm pleased to be the minister. This is not to my own, because this is necessary, and I would like to think, no matter who my successor is, that they will continue the work that we're doing. We're making progress. We're making real progress, and I think we're putting action behind our promises and getting things done. Is there more to be done? Absolutely.
Yeah.